Gordon, 4 U.S. soldiers have been killed in combat in Iraq. It happened on the eve of the American troop withdrawal from major Iraqi cities. Iraqi forces have now assumed control for security in urban areas, but as Eric Stackelbeck reports, these recent attacks have some questioning if this is the right time for a pullback.
Carnage, chaos, confusion, and at least 80 people dead. A recent bombing of a Baghdad market was a reminder of a much bloodier era in Iraqi history before the 2007 U.S. troop surge. Back then, al-Qaeda and Shiite militias wreaked havoc across the country. Things are different now. Violence has reached all-time lows, and life has returned to normal in many neighborhoods. Still, as the U.S. military prepares to hand security over to Iraqi forces, the question lingers. Are they ready? U.S. officials say yes.
Despite the fact that you've seen sporadic high-profile attacks still taking place in Iraq, the overall security climate is a good one, and we remain at all-time lows.
But attacks have been on the upswing in recent weeks. Close to 200 Iraqis have been killed by terror attacks in June alone. U.S. military officials say an increase in attacks was anticipated in the run-up to Tuesday's handoff. They're confident Iraqis won't let al-Qaeda and other terror groups reestablish a foothold.
And when you talk to the average Iraqi, they're tired of al-Qaeda at this point, and they're ready to move forward.
The U.S. can move forces back into the cities for security reasons if called upon by the Iraqi government. But the plan right now is to continue to train Iraqi forces in the run-up to a complete U.S. withdrawal by 2011. Eric Stackelbeck, CBN News, Washington.
A Yemeni air jet carrying 153 people crashed into the Indian Ocean early Tuesday morning. The plane took off from the capital of Yemen, bound for the island nation of Comoros. Miraculously, an immigrations officer from Comoros says a toddler was pulled alive from the crash site. And in Italy, a rail car filled with liquefied natural gas exploded in a derailment, killing at least 13 and injuring more than 50 people. The blast caused nearby buildings to collapse and spread flames over a vast area. One of the victims included a child who was killed in his home. Stones, tear gas, and rubber bullets. Those were some of the weapons used in clashes between police and Honduran protesters after this week's coup. Witnesses say security forces chased and clubbed demonstrators who took to the streets in support of Manuel Zelaya, the ousted president. Zelaya says he plans to return home this week to reclaim control. World leaders from President Obama to Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez have condemned the coup, but the newly installed president says he will not bend to international pressure. The U.S. Supreme Court handed down a landmark decision on race and the workplace Monday. In a 5-4 decision, justices ruled in favor of white and Hispanic firefighters from New Haven, Connecticut. Those firefighters say they were discriminated against when they were denied promotion simply because no black firefighters scored high enough on a test. Paul Strand has more from the Supreme Court.
New Haven firefighters who'd passed promotion tests but weren't promoted because no black firefighters had passed finally saw vindication from the U.S. Supreme Court.
And we could not be more relieved or more delighted.
But only after 5 years of court rebukes, including one from Sonia Sotomayor's federal appeals court. This is often called the Kennedy Court, and it's easy to see why. 4 liberals were against the firefighters, 4 conservatives for them. Judge Anthony Kennedy weighed in with the conservatives and basically decided the case, also wrote the majority opinion. What's important to note is that not one of the 9 justices had anything good to say about Judge Sonia Sotomayor's role in all this. She basically blew off the firefighters' case with just a 1-paragraph decision, which caused such controversy that her own mentor on her court wrote a blistering dissent and asked the Supreme Court to overrule her.
It's a big embarrassment for Judge Sotomayor, not only on the merits of the law, but just on the fact that she did such a shoddy job as a judge.
One has to ponder the timing of this ruling. It could have been announced any time in the last couple of months, but instead the court waited till the last possible moment, their last day. You have to wonder if the conservative-controlled court wanted to possibly have an impact on Sotomayor's confirmation hearings, set to start in just a couple of weeks. Paul Strand, CBN News, reporting from the Supreme Court.
Bernard Madoff will spend the rest of his life in prison. A federal judge sentenced the Ponzi schemer to the maximum 150 years, but Madoff may not go down alone for his multi-billion-dollar fraud. 10 others under investigation and may face federal charges by the time the investigation is complete. Comedian Fred Travalena has died. Travelina was well known for impersonating presidents, crooners, and movie stars. Those talents were also showcased on this program over the years. In 2004, Travelina gave his take on the inaugural speeches of 9 U.S. presidents.
I, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, do solemnly swear.
I will faithfully
Execute the duties of the office
of the President of the States United United States,
and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. So help us God, and don't mess with Texas, and God bless the USA.
Travelina's publicist says he died of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma at his California home. He was first diagnosed with the disease in 2002, but had been in remission until last summer. Fred Travelina was 66. You can always get the latest from CBN News by going to our website at cbn.com.